Well, I'm going to switch over to my Chicago Cubs if we can. You mentioned earlier that they might have reason to be kind of looking at the playoffs potentially. I kind of the rule of thumb is you can't really talk about the playoffs until you're at least 500. The Cubs are exactly one game below 500 now for the first time since the beginning of June, which is ridiculous, but it's I guess it's a trend up at least. They do have a 20-12 record since July 4th, which is the second best in the National League, only behind the Arizona Diamondbacks in that time span. They've had the best team ERA in that span, the best bullpen in all of baseball, and the second best ERA amongst starters in that span. So they're putting things together. I heard this term. I've never heard this before, but apparently it's a common phrase in Milwaukee, at least. They said we're moving into Craigtember. That's what they call it. When Craig Counsell's teams have a winning percentage of 58% in the month of September, and that is where they have given the Cubs fits over the last several years, as they come on strong, as he's preserved their bullpens, as opposed to the way David Ross managed last year, where the team collapsed. It's interesting that they're kind of building momentum in a lot of ways that Craig's Counsell's teams have in the past. So something to look at least. I'm not saying they're a playoff team. They are currently 3 games back in the third wild card. They're really more than 3 games back. The way you have to look at that is they're behind 3 different teams still to even get to that third wild card slot. The Giants are ahead of them, Cardinals, and the Mets. Actually, my 3 least favorite teams in the world, in the National League at least. So I kind of look at the loss column. Cubs have 60 losses. I think the Giants have 59. Cardinals 58 and Mets 57. So I kind of add up the difference between those. And really, if you look at 3 games back, since they have to jump 3 teams, they're really 6 games back in that because all those teams have to lose more games than the Cubs going forward. So I think it's unlikely that the Cubs make the playoffs, but if they can win tonight, which they are losing, unless that's changed.
No, they're losing big now, 7-3.
Oh, okay. My MLB app totally crapped out. I don't know what's going on. I guess there's nothing but technical difficulties on this end because it's pretty apropos. So if they get to 500, then I'll start talking more about playoffs. But they're bordering on that at this point. So I'm not going to get too chesty right now.
Word Hole Media.